Before we talk about Friday night, let's talk about the season your team has been having this season.
We've been indifferent. We've been inconsistent, like I spoke about on Friday. We've had some really good results. We've had some really good periods of play. We've had some not so good results. So we've had a bit of everything. But we are still in our development phase with the turnover from last year's players, with the success of the boys who have gone on to transition into the under 21s and development group. Yeah, so we're still getting there, still work in progress. But like I say, we've had some good, bad and indifferent at the moment.
What has impressed you most about your side this season?
Probably the resilience that we've shown. We did it again on Saturday at Rotherham. Although we got beat, we showed some really good character in the final third of the game. Like I spoke about on Saturday, the so-called offside goal didn't count, but it would got us back in the game. But we've, like I say, the transition's been good. The first years who've come in, we've had some really good progress from Jaden Chambers-Morgan, who's been outstanding for us this year. Trained with the first team last week, and he's a good prospect. But yeah, we're pleased overall, but there's lots of us we can still do better.
Let's talk about Jaden Chambers-Morgan. First year scholar, training with the first team. What do you make of his progress so far in the team this season?
He's been very good. We've been very demanding of him when he first came in. He was a close season signing, was at Forest until he was under 16. So, you know, we've had to work hard on him to try to work to our way of what we want to do things, of the hard work in the first place. He was a bit resilient in the first place to do all the hard work, but he's got there now and he's reaped his rewards. Some of his play's been fantastic in the team. He went across and trained last week with the gaffer, and there's some very positive feedback. So we're very pleased with him. But like I say, he's a first-year scholar, only probably a third into his first-year scholar, so there's lots to come from him still.
What are the links like between your team and the first team? Do you aspire to play like the first team, or are there systems in place to play like them? What's the story there?
Yeah, we want to be as close as we can to the Gaffer's team as we can. We have some bare minimum requirements of hard work that the first team show in abundance. But we've tinkered around with the shape this year. We've got some injuries at the moment, so we can't really replicate what the first team can do on some times. But we have a style of play which the Gaffer likes. We've worked with the Central League team as well. We've had correlation between the 18s and 21s and first team. So that's been really good for us to get that link between the senior players and the management and our scholars coming through to work together.
Let's talk about Friday night. You enter a new competition in the FA Youth Cup. What's your expectation going into it?
To get as far as we can. You know, it's a boring standard answer, I'm sure, but we take each round as it comes, and this one's brought us back home again, playing at the one call. Last year was a really tough draw against Derby, where we competed really well, but we fell a little bit short in the end. This year, against a familiar opponent in Grimsby that we played 3 times last year. So we know what to expect, but we're looking forward to a good night that the kids look forward to. Every time the FA Youth Cup comes about, they're looking for a good draw, and this is a good draw.
What importance do you place progressing in the FA Cup this season?
Playing new teams, having new chapters in, you know, what the club have done. I know they've in the past got to some really good fixtures, but I've only been here, this is my second season. Like I said, last year was a really tough draw. We played at the one call, which is a great experience for the kids to play in front of the family and friends. But they've got to get over that now. This is it's back to work. It's a football match. We want to try and progress and get to the next round of the cup.
Let's talk about your opponent, Grimsby Town. Their side are not shy of scoring goals. How do you try to combat them and stop them playing the way they want to?
Well, we've watched them 2 or 3 times already this year. We know their strengths. They're very combative. We've got to nullify their strengths and try and play to our strengths. So, we'll work from tomorrow. We've got a session today which is not geared around the game on Friday. So we'll work from tomorrow, work Thursday, and get ready for Friday.
What experience will your players gain from playing at the One Call Stadium this Friday?
I don't think there's many who already haven't. We had a lot of games last year in the Merit Cup where we played all our games on the one call, and we won all 5 of those. So the experience is there. It's only the first years have not played on there. So people like Jaden, it'll be his first experience of playing on the stadium pitch. But most of the boys have already done it. They either played in the Central League last year, they played in the Youth Alliance Merit League, or they played in the FA Youth Cup. So it's not new for them. So hopefully they'll take last year's experience and gain from it for this year.
Lastly, as a former Premier League defender, what advice would you give to your players before going on the pitch on Friday?
Enjoy it, but do the right things at the right time. It's about decision making. We spoke about this on Saturday. Make the right decisions at the right time, but don't leave anything on the field. Make sure when you come off the pitch, you've left everything out there. And if a team's better than you on the day, there's nothing we can do about it. But we've got to be as best as we can, do the right things at the right time, and hopefully that's enough for us to get through.
Thank you, Chet.
My pleasure.